Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is 2:27 a.m. on this chilly yet beautiful Sunday evening, going into Monday morning. How are you guys doing? I am toasty warm. I have the heat up to like 77 in here. Let's see, 76 degrees. And I was just listening to a little jazz, standards, and classical on 73 Holiday Traditions. Right now, it's Bing Crosby, I'll Be Home for Christmas. I was just listening to a little All I Want for Christmas Is My Two Front Teeth. What's that one part? It's been so long since I could say Sister Susie sitting on a thistle. I don't know how I know the words to some of these songs. It cracks me up. Probably from all of my years on being in choir in elementary and junior high school. Well, I wasn't in choir in junior high school. I was just in choir in elementary school. In junior high school, I kind of just like shut down. Well, let's get real deep real early into the vlog, shall we? No, we don't need to get real deep. I'm in a great mood tonight. I am wide awake. We had such just a nice kind of like lazy day. Today we got up and we went to Cafe Patachu for brunch. And they have a huge table, like right when you walk in, this gorgeous wood table that I love. I would love to have it in my house. And got there like at 2:20 or something like that, and they closed at 3, so we were like one of the last people there, so they let us sit wherever we wanted to. And I had let Alex off at the door because it was so cold out. So he picked that table, so we got this huge table to sit at, and then he had his turkey chili, a cup of turkey chili, and his Cuban breakfast with sriracha, and he also had his 9 million croutons in his turkey chili. He's so cute. And he asked for more, which I love. And then we both had coffee. He had regular coffee. And then they had 2 flavors. They had frangelica and coconut something. And I almost got the coconut, and she was like, the frangelica is so much better. So I got the frangelica coffee. It didn't have frangelica in it. It was just coffee. And then I have been getting the croissant French toast because I've been like craving French toast for breakfast, and they put like all of these like candied pecans on it. It's so good. And then I got a side of potatoes, and I had a bowl of fruit too. I replaced the fruit with the crispy potatoes. They have like the best crispy potatoes, but she brought me the fruit anyway. She's like, don't worry about it. This waitress that we have there, I love her. And well, it was between her and the server that we have, and he's like usually our server every week. And they were both kind of like coming over and talking to us and helping us out. Anyway, we had a great brunch, and then afterwards we went home, and we were washing like linens and stuff like that today. And then I had a bunch of cameos to do. So I just kind of sat down, and I had so much fun doing these cameos. I have so much fun doing them, you guys. And I just sat there and did like one cameo after. I think I did like 14 cameos in a row. And I just had such a great time. They're all between like 4 and 6 minutes long that I do them, and I just had such a great time, so that was fun. But afterwards, well, I had driven around first and talked to Tanya, because Alex said that he was going to maybe lay down. And so I didn't get done with that stuff until like 5:30, and I was kind of unsure whether or not I was going to even make any videos today or not. I had videos I wanted to make, but then I was like, you know, if I push it, then it'll be 7:30 or 8, and then I'm going to be super tired. So I was like, you know what? Oh, I had also got an egg salad sandwich with avocado on toasted whole wheat and chips to bring home for later. So, and Alex was going to get something, but he had leftover chili from his mom's at home, so he was just going to heat that up later. Well, he heated it up later. So, what did I watch while I was... Oh, I watched Family Feud. He was watching The Real Housewives of Orange County when he was eating his chili, and I sat there and watched a little bit of it. And then I watched Family Feud. I watched like the end of one episode and the beginning of the next episode. It always cracks me up, like when the winning family comes back in the next episode and they're all in the same outfits, but like Steve Harvey changes his outfit, so it's like a new day, but it's not really a new day because they film like 5 of them, you know, in one day. I'm assuming that's what they do, but anyway. So, after that, like Alex, after he ate his chili, had gone upstairs, and I was just like sitting there watching Family Feud, and like every 10 minutes I would shout out, and I'd be like, "What are you doing?" And he'd be like, a couple seconds would go by, and he'd be like, "I'm just laying here in bed." And so his eye had been hurting him today. He wasn't really sure why. He was convinced he was getting a sty. And so he was putting like a wet washcloth and stuff on it. I think it kind of like went away and stopped hurting him though. But I went upstairs at like 7:30. When did I go upstairs? And he was sleeping. He was asleep, and the lights were all off, and the pups were up there with him, the dogs were up there with him. So I was like, I'm gonna go listen to my audiobook for a little bit. I was actually gonna vlog really early tonight, and I was like, I wanna just listen to my audiobook. So and I also was gonna see if Tanya wanted to get a fountain pop, and then, oh, that was before I ate, actually. So that would have been earlier than that. No, that wouldn't have been 7:30, that would have been like 6:30. So, I was gonna go to the Meijer, and I was gonna get some hummus and some stuff like that. And then I was like in the car, and I was like, why am I getting this stuff when I have this egg salad sandwich that I can eat? So I was like, I'm just gonna go back and eat that. Talked to Tanya on the phone for a while. She was like, they were watching the Colts game, and she had made, what did she make? She had chicken legs and broccoli salad or something. I was like, chicken legs? And she was like, yeah, chicken legs. I was like, chicken legs? She was like, yeah, chicken legs. They were watching the Colts game, but anyway. So I talked to her for a little bit. She didn't want to get a fountain pop because she had to go back over to the kennel later, and it's cold. Tanya doesn't like to go out a whole lot when it's cold. So I just listened to my audiobook. I listened to like a half an hour of my audiobook, and then I went home. My lip balm. I don't think I want to eat lip gloss right now. Maybe later. And got home, ate my sandwich, watched Family Feud, and then that's when I went upstairs. And it was like 7:30. So no, it wouldn't have been that. It would have been later than that. Because I laid down like, it was like 9 o'clock. It was like right at 9 o'clock. Because I was like, I'm going to take a long nap. And I set my alarm for 11:30. Alex had been asleep since like early, like 6 or something, 6:30. So what did I do? Oh, so I like set my alarm for like 11:30, and I lay down. I was so comfy, you guys, in bed. It was so toasty warm, and the dogs were all around me, and we were just like, it was just perfect. And it was like this is so funny because yesterday I was saying we can't really like hear our neighbors through the walls and stuff, and I think she was like in the garage. Sometimes I'm like our neighbor Laura has like her garage set up with like a ping pong table and stuff, and she'll have friends over. If they're in the garage, I can kind of hear them sometimes because like the wall to the garage is outside, like it's in our walkway. So I could kind of hear them distantly, like laughing, and I could kind of distantly hear music playing. And, but it wasn't loud or anything, but it just seems like real homey, you know, that like there were like people around and stuff, whatever. So, I fell asleep and I was out, and I woke up at like 11:15, and I knew my alarm was going to go off in an hour, so I set it for like 12:30, and then I fell asleep for like another 15 or 20 minutes, and I woke back up, and then I was going to like set it for 12:45. I was just really pushing it, you know, and then I was like, no, I think I'm just going to get up now. So I got up, did some gratitude work in my magic book. I'm loving that book. Can't believe we're so far. We're like halfway through the book. And just seems crazy. It seems like I just started it, but it's so fantastic. Today was like about like kind of like paying gratitude forward. It was like about having a magical day, and it was about like in the morning, like starting off and like looking at your day and saying like, I'm grateful for this amazing brunch that I'm gonna have, and I'm grateful for all of these great cameos I'm gonna do, and I'm grateful for this great nap that I'm gonna have, and I'm grateful for this. So basically you're paying it forward, and you're just grateful for the day ahead that you're gonna have. And then you're kind of reminded of that if like your day doesn't go the way that you want it to. Basically remembering that you can start your day over whenever you want, you know, and get back into gratitude. So, anyway, and then there was other stuff to do, and I was just like reading some of the stuff, and I was working on my lists and stuff like that. But anyway, and then I got on Amazon. So I was on, I think that was when I was sitting there watching The Real Housewives of Orange County with Alex. The Goodreads 2020 like readers poll has come out. If you guys don't know what Goodreads is, it's like an app like Facebook, but it's just for books. Although it's not like people's like personal update. I mean, it's like just all updates about books and how much you've read and whatever. Which, by the way, oh, that's what I did today. I finished the Lemony Snicket book 1. And I sat on the couch and read like the last like 60 or 70 pages that I had to read of it. So I sat there. So I've officially read 70 books this year, which is the most books that I have read in 1 year. Going forward, every book that I read will be the most books I have read in 1 year, because 68 had been the most books. So now it's 70. And then I was going to start reading the second book, which I think is called The Reptile Room. But instead, I had wanted to read the Witch's Sister series, which I read when I was a kid, like in elementary school. I read like Witch's Sister, The Witch's Water, and then I don't think I ever read The Witch Herself, which is the third book. And I bought all 3 of them online at one point, like on Thrift Books or something. And then I got them for real cheap. So if I didn't get them on Thrift Books, I don't know where I got them, but that's usually where I go for like cheap books. The books I can't find, like on Amazon and stuff. But then I found out that there were like somebody said it in a vlog or something, I think, or on a BookTube video, that there were actually like 7 books in the series. So I ended up buying all 7 books, and I have them all, and they're all real short, like 150 or 60 pages. I think I think Witch's Sister is like 150 or 161 pages, I think. So I'm going to try to finish that in the next couple days. And I want to finish that series by the end of the year. And I also want to try to get the Lemony Snicket books going too. I liked the first one. I ended up actually giving it a 3 stars. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was the greatest thing in the entire world. I don't really just love reading like elementary or middle grade books. I don't know, it was a fun read. It was fine, you know. I had wanted to read it because I'd heard a lot about him. I was actually talking to my friend at the meeting the other night, and he reads a lot. He and his wife read a lot of like middle grade and young adult books. And so I said, oh, guess what? I said, I'm reading the Lemony Snicket books. And he was telling me that. He was like, oh, I loved those. He was like, he read them to his son when his son was younger. And he was like, when you get done with them, you have to watch the series on Netflix because it's so well done. And I said, yeah, I saw it. I think I started watching it like 2-3 years ago when it first came out, and I never finished it. So, but I want to read a couple more of the books, because I think like the first book is like the first 2 episodes, and then like the next 2 episodes are like the second book, and I think it goes along that way or something. I looked it up, and it's like the episodes are titled by the book title. So I don't know, we'll see. I liked it enough that I want to keep on reading it, but I wasn't just like, I couldn't put it down, you know what I mean? Plus I read it over the course of like 6 weeks, so it took me forever to read, which is my fault. I mean, it's the world's shortest book, you know. It was like 162 pages. Maybe that's the one that's 162, 161, and maybe Witch's Sister is 151. I don't know why it always matters to me how many pages the book is. But anyway, so while I was on Goodreads, because I was putting that book in there, completed, I was noticing that they had a Goodreads poll up. Well, I'd seen a couple people like that they had voted, so I was going through each section and I was voting for my favorite books. I voted for Grady Hendrix, Southern Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires as best horror novel. The Third Truly Devious Book is the best young adult book. What else did I pick? The new Hank Green book, but I can't remember what I picked it for. Maybe science fiction. It was science fiction. But as I was going through, I was reading like what other books had been nominated. And this is like the final round. So like these are like the best books of the year. And I was reading like what the books were about, and I was screenshotting them. So I screenshot like, I don't know, 5 or 10 books, more than that, probably like maybe 5 or 10 books, I don't know, I screenshot. And so then tonight, a couple of them were graphic novels. One was by Alice Oseman, who she's supposed to be like this fantastic author, and she wrote this book called Radio Silence. It's a young adult book, and I have it on my Audible, but I never have listened to it. And then she had these 2 shorter books that were both like holiday books, and about like a sister and a brother, and I think the brother is gay, and they're like young adult books. But anyway, so I wanted to listen to these like shorter books, but they're all like spin-offs from this book that she wrote called Solitaire, which is about this girl, Tori, and her brother, Charlie, and their group of friends. It reminds me very much of like Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda, and like love, like the whole like Creekwood, the Simon verse, as they call it, by Becky Albertalli. And I've just heard great things about Alice Oseman, so I was like, I think that's how you pronounce her name. It's either Osman or Oseman, but I think it's Oseman. So I got on Audible and I bought the Solitaire book, which is the first book, and then I got the 2 shorter books. They're like less than 2 hours each. And then I also saw, this was in the science fiction, that it's called, I think it's called Mallory, I think. Marjorie or Mallory. I'm almost positive it's called Mallory. I didn't even know this book had come out. And it's the second installment in the Bird Box series by Josh Malerman. And I loved that book, Bird Box. So I got that book too. So I got that, Solitaire, and the 2 other ones. Yeah, so those were the 4 that I got on Audible. I just keep on buying all these Audible books. And then on Amazon, I bought Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. It has been made into, she made it into a graphic, well, a manga, with this artist. And so I was like, okay, I really want to read this. I loved the book Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. It was my very first Rainbow Rowell book that I ever read. I love Rainbow Rowell. If you don't know, she's one of my favorite authors of life. If you are looking for a great author, she is fantastic. Even her young adult books read as adult books. She has 2 books, Landline and Attachments, that are both adult books. Landline is actually kind of a holiday book, because it's about a woman that she is like a writer for a television show in like Los Angeles, and her family goes home for the holidays, her husband and kids, and they're like not doing great, and she goes to stay with her parents, and like her landline phone in her room like works, but it like works like as kind of like time travel. It's really well done. I didn't like it when I first read it, but then later I did. Attachments I really liked as well. So in Fangirl, it was about like these twins, and they wrote this fan fiction together of Simon Snow, who was supposed to be very, like, Simon Snow was supposed to be modeled after Harry Potter, but Simon Snow is gay. And she's written like these spin-off books, and the first one was called Carry On, and I read it, and it was just, it was all about Simon Snow, and I was completely, it's like literally like just a fan fiction novel about Simon Snow, and I was so bored, I hated it. And I think because what I like about Rainbow Rowell, and I mean, authors should write whatever they want to write, right? But like, what I like about Rainbow Rowell, this is such a book vlog, but oh well, this is what I'm thinking about tonight, is that she writes kind of like what's the genre? Contemporary realism? I don't know. It's just like, it's very realistic of what's going on in the world, and I like that. And I don't love like the fantasy world building stuff. You guys know that anyway. So for me to like read this book about this fan fiction about Harry Potter fan fiction on Simon, I mean, it's genius what she's done, but I'm not interested in it. She actually wrote a graphic novel called Pumpkinheads that I loved, which is about these two kids, and it was their last summer working at a pumpkin patch, so I thought I would really like this manga. Now, Fangirl, I loved that book. I actually wish she would write a sequel to it. So then when I was online, I was looking, so I got the Fangirl manga, I bought that. I bought 4 books. I was looking up to see, there was like an LGBTQIA+ graphic novel series. I can't remember what it's called, but it was like, so for the graphic novel section of the Goodreads, there were like 6 or 7 books that were recommended, and it was like one of them, and it was the 3rd book in a series. So I bought the 1st book in the series, because sometimes I like graphic novels, and so I have a hard time getting through them. And I had friends of mine that loved the Walking Dead ones, so I bought the first 4, and I never even finished the first one. And then a friend of mine told me that this one that he thought I would like, it was called Sex Criminals. It was not bad. I'm like 75-80% of it done. I should just finish it. It's about this couple that they meet. It's kind of silly. I don't even really know how to explain it, but like, whenever they like have sex and have an orgasm, like they stop time, and so they start like robbing banks, and like it's so silly, like, but it's hilarious at the same time. Anyway, he also recommended to me Clue, and I hated Clue, so I actually took it down to the basement. Books that I want to make sure that I never read, because I'm like, okay, I just don't need them around me at all, because then I'll be like, oh, I should read this, but I don't really want to read this, I take to the basement. And I have The Diary of Anne Frank, actually, is a graphic novel. It's beautiful. The artwork is so beautiful. And I also have Anne of Green Gables, A Wrinkle in Time. I don't know that I've ever read the book A Wrinkle in Time, even when I was a kid. And I haven't read Anne of Green Gables, but I did watch the show back in the day. And To Kill a Mockingbird. I have those 4 graphic novels. I think graphic novels are beautiful sometimes. And I think, like, as coffee table books down the road, because they're hardback, will be really cool too. So I got those 2, and then Rainbow Rowell had a book called Midnight Hours or something like that, and I was like, what is this? I've never seen this. And then it was like a novella, and I got really excited, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna order this. And I literally almost put it in my cart, and then I read up on the Goodreads to see what it was about, and one story was this New Year's Eve, these 2 people falling in love, and it was actually in Stephanie Perkins' anthology, My True Love Gave to Thee. If you want to read a really, really good book for the holiday season, is it Thee or Me? Stephanie Perkins has done, the author, Stephanie Perkins, she did 2 anthologies. I actually wish she would do another one. She did 2 anthologies. One was holiday time, and one was summer. I can't remember what the summer one was called, but the holiday one, it wasn't all Christmas stories, it was all kinds of stories, but it was just basically holidays, like New Year's, Hanukkah, all kinds of stuff. But that one was called My True Love Gave to Me, and it was like 10 or 15 stories. It was fantastic. I loved it. I absolutely loved that anthology, and I'm not somebody that likes anthologies of short stories. And I actually, through that, found Nina LaCour, who is like one of my favorite authors today. I think she's such a great young adult author. She wrote a book about like Pride Day. It was like a book about a lesbian couple that like fall in love over Pride Day weekend in San Francisco. I can't remember what the book was called, but it was really good. And so I got that book that was recommended to me, and I got 4 books. I don't remember. Oh, then there was this other book, and it was called like Teen Titans or something like that. It was like this new like Marvel comic book, and it was like supposed to be really good because it was supposed to be like kids that basically were like homeless, and then they have these superpowers. And there's 2 books, and the first one's about this girl that her mom dies, and so she goes into foster care, I think in New Orleans. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna see, because the other one was actually was nominated. The sequel, it's only 2, so it's a duology. The second one was nominated for the graphic novel, so I got the first one, which is called Raven, about this girl. So that was 3. Then there was another book that I got. What was the 4th book that I got? Oh, the 4th book that I got was actually a young adult book, and it looked really good, and they compared it to they were like, if Dumplin met, I can't remember what the other book was, this would be like the meeting of Dumplin and whatever, but it's not on Audible. And I was like, well, I want to read this book anyway, and it's about this kid, and he says he's chubby, and he has like a crush, like he lives like in like New York, like in Brooklyn, and he has like a crush, and both he, I think, and the other character are Latino, which I think is fantastic. It's like Adam Silvera like writes always like Latino characters, and like Latino gay characters, which I think is really important. And so it's like that, and I think this is this guy's debut novel. It's called something like Here the Whole Time is what it was called. And so anyway, it's like over like school break, and this kid that he has a crush on has to like stay at his house because like his parents go out of town or something, and his mom is like friends with his parents, and so he stays there, and like he's like nobody, like he has no confidence, he's like nobody that like this. It's basically like Dumplin, if Dumplin was gay. So I was like, okay, this will be a good book, I'm gonna try this. But it's not on Audible, and so I was like, because I'm trying to order some books to like sit down and read, because it's getting colder, like I don't always love to go drive around, so I like to sit inside, you know, sometimes and read. So yeah, so I ordered those 4 books. I'm excited about that. These are the 4 books I got. Fangirl, and the first book, and then LGBTQIA, graphic novel series. There's 3 books in the series, and then I got Raven and Here the Whole Time. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Some different kind of stuff to read, you know? Although, I have to tell you, I'm in the 8th book of the Misfortune series, and, the Janet DeLeon, oh my god, they're so good, you guys. Like, I just feel like I live in that world. I don't know what I'm gonna do when I finish them. Like, seriously, like, I really do not know what I'm gonna do. Because I'm on the 8th book, so I have only 9 left after this. I'm gonna be like, I don't know what to do. She needs to put out a new book. Well, she has other series, so that's what I did, and with the gratitude work and stuff like that. I had a little candle burning the whole time. It was so nice. It was this candle that I got, I think at Target. And yeah, I did it in my Target haul, and it was like, it smells like sugared peppermint. I don't even know how to explain. I think it's called sugared peppermint or something like that, or sugared candy cane or something. It is so good. It smells so good. I had it lit right next to me the whole time that I was doing it. It was very cozy, and so yeah. Oh, I also went through on Wayfair, and I found the nightstands. Well, Alex was like, go pick all these nightstands. So I went through, he wants 3 drawers in the nightstand. I don't necessarily, but I mean, it's not that big of a deal to me. So if it'll make him happy, we can get 3 drawer nightstands. So I went through and I picked like, I think I picked like 8 out total. Like half of them have 2 drawers and the other half have 3 drawers. They're cool. They're all like mid-century, like 1950s dressers. or nightstands. It stopped. I didn't even know it stopped, so I don't know when it stopped, but I was talking about buying these dressers. But Alex wants something that we can put a lot of stuff in, which is why he wants 3 drawers instead of 2. So I told him I would, you know, because he was like, why don't you just pick them initially, like 5 of them, and then I'll go through and pick the like 2 or 3 that I like, and then you can finalize it down to that. I was like, okay. But I will tell you this, it's interesting that Ashley Home Furnitures and all these places, Furnitures with an S, and all these places say that they can't get them delivered for 10 to 15 weeks or something like that, or 18 weeks. And we literally could have these nightstands here this week. It was like, some of them were, I mean, not all of them, but some of them were like delivery by the 25th. And I was like, we literally could have these nightstands here this week. The only thing is that I didn't realize this, because with our furniture outside, we didn't have to do this, but it says that it like assembly required. And I'm like, oh, I don't know about all that. Like, if that's the case, then we should have just gone to IKEA, you know what I mean? They're not super expensive, but I'm like, is it going to be like really hard to like put this stuff together? You can buy, I have some of my coffee left over from earlier. You can buy, it's called Expert Assembly, but it's like the same. Okay, so like if a table is like $150, it's like $100 for them to put it together. It's like doubling the price. I'm like, that's a lot of money. So I don't know, maybe I need to go through there and find ones that don't have any assembly. I'm sure you can put that into your search and see if there are any. But that's exciting that I found some. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll look through and see if there are any that don't have any assembly required. And then tomorrow, Caroline and I are filming our video. So I was actually going through like all of the questions that I was sent on Instagram, and because there were so many repeats that I was just like writing, I came up with 22 or 23 questions, which is a lot. And so I typed them all up. I tried to make them in some kind of order so they would make sense in the video, but then I was just like, whatever, just, you know, ask them. We'll just take it and see how it goes. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. We're gonna have fun, but I have to be up early. I have to be there at 1 o'clock. So we were originally gonna do 12. I was thinking about this tonight. I was like, this is because Caroline is thinking that I'm gonna like sleep in super late. She was like, why don't we do 1? Because Caroline's always up early anyway, so I don't know why it would matter to her. She's like, why don't we do 1? And I was like, we can do 1 if you want to do 1. She was like, okay. She's probably thinking, Peter will make me sit around and wait. I'm like, I would not make you do that. I'm like, when I have appointments and things I have to get up for, I get up. Alex and I are going to get our eyes checked a week from tomorrow. Getting new eye exams. It's funny because I let Alex like pick the place that we were going to go for. I usually go just to Target. But every place to get an appointment for, you know, eye exams is like so far out. So Alex picked this place. I think Sarah went there. And so they sent this stuff in the mail. Alex was like showing me where the address was. And I was like, yeah, blah, 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 you know. And he was like, do you know where that is? And I said, yeah, I know exactly where it's at. So anyway, they sent this stuff in the mail to, like, for us to fill out, like the paperwork to fill out, you know. And I looked at the name and I was like, oh my God, that's where my best friend used to work. My friend that I was talking about the other day, you know, that we caught up, like he used to work there. Like that was, because he's eye surgeon, and that's where he used to work. I think it's so funny. And I got my contacts there for years and years and years and years and years and years, even before he worked there. Whew, this coffee's a little strong now. I I think I put too Splenda in. It's like strong and sugary. It's like, ugh, I don't know what I think. Sometimes I don't mind cold coffee. Like, I like iced coffee, obviously, but like cold coffee, like that's been sitting there all day, that's different. I don't necessarily love that. This Jets pizza over here, everybody tells me I should try that. So yeah, that's tomorrow. Caroline and I are doing that. And kind of depending on how my day goes, will depend on like how many videos I make and stuff like that, because I have a lot of stuff to do tomorrow. I have that, and then like I want to make like 4 or 5 videos. I want to make a Peter Does Stuff video, but that may have to wait till Tuesday or Wednesday, because I wanted to film like 2 of them and then like put one up on like Wednesday and one up on like Friday, but that may just have to wait. We'll just see. And I started talking about a friend of mine. Anyway, said their name, shouldn't do that. Let's move on. I was talking to a friend of mine, and this is how I tell the story, but I don't say the name, right? But anyway, and her daughter is coming home from college this week, and like she doesn't go back to school until I think like February or something. Like they're done, like for like they still have to, I don't know like how they're doing it. She was like explaining it to me. It's like, and I think a lot of colleges are doing that. Do you guys know about that? I know like here in Indianapolis, all of our schools in Indianapolis went strictly to virtual. They had to be all virtual by the 30th. But Hamilton County, which is like where I grew up, and it's where my like brother and sister-in-law, my mother-in-law live, like that they don't have to. So they're still hybrid, which is where they go to school a couple days of the week, and then they can, and then they're at home a couple days of the week. I don't know how many days, but when I was talking to Liliana about it last, she was telling me that, like, I got the impression that it was like they're at school more. I asked her, I was like, I think I asked her, we got off track though, like specifically what days, and she was telling me, and then like we started talking about something else. So, but I know when they started going back to school, Sebastian, I think, was at school more days than Carlitos. And Carlitos would like get up and work in like, because like Carlos has like an office from home, you know, where he works from home and stuff. And so Carlitos would get up and like he would work next to him, you know, and stuff. Isn't that so sweet? And but I think they're both like back to school like 3 days a week, and they're at home like 2 days a week. I don't know, I could be wrong, I don't know. All I know is that in Indianapolis, where I live, 10 minutes away from where they live, 15 minutes away, you can't be in school right now. All the schools are virtual till further notice. And I was talking to my hairstylist when I got my hair cut, and I was asking her, because her daughter goes to a private school, and I was like, what are they doing? And she was like, well, they have to all be, I think it was, she said, I think by like the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, they had to all be like transitioned home from her school. And I said, so what do you think about that? And she said, well, I pulled her out. And I said, what do you mean? And she was like, well, if they're worried about it to the point of like, everybody's got to be on virtual by next Wednesday, she was like, I'm just going to pull her out now. Like, there's no reason for me to wait. So, so she was, not pull her out from school, but pull her out so she's like virtual. Like in Indianapolis, I don't know how it is where you guys live, but like, you could kind of choose, I think. But you had to make your choice early on whether you were going to be like back in school, hybrid, or completely virtual. Because like I have friends of mine whose kids basically never went back to school. Like they were virtual, like homeschooled the whole, it's not homeschooled, but the whole time. But I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and she was like, but it's really cool now. Or maybe, was this at my meeting? I think this was at my meeting. was my friend that was telling me, it was this guy, yeah. He was like, it's really cool now, he was like, because you literally, like, they sit down and, like, almost all of his classes are, like, Zoom, like, the teacher's sitting there in a classroom. So it feels like he's in the classroom, which that's cool. That's really nice, you know? I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was like, you know, it's going to be so weird, like, 20 years from now when all these studies come out, because we talk so much, you know, when you talk about education, and, you know, my master's degree was in social work, but I actually did one of my practicum internships at an elementary school, and they were K through 5, and God, that seems like so long ago. And it was in IPS schools, in Indianapolis public school. I was so resistant to doing that. I did not have any desire. I had no interest in being like a school social worker or anything like that, but I ended up loving that experience. I worked with some really neat people. Like, it was, you want to talk about underpaid, overworked educators in our country. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Just salt of the earth people that just would do anything for those kids. But anyway, you know, like, when I would take classes on, like, school social work, or, like, there was a lot of education classes that I had to take, or when I would go to conferences and things like that, you know, and they would talk about, like, the importance of socialization with kids in the school system, and that, you know, like, school isn't just about, like, this is where it comes in, and they talk about the pros and the cons of homeschooling and things like that, which I'm sure that there are arguments for either side, and I don't really stand on it's whatever. I know kids that have been homeschooled, and I know kids that weren't, and some turned out fine, some didn't, on both sides, you know, so it's like, whatever. But, you know, there's always been this discussion about the importance of socialization, and how important, like, you know, doing, like, group things together, and group projects, and, you know, extracurricular activities, like groups and clubs and sports and things like that. And, you know, I was talking to Carlos about this the other night, because one of the things I know is that, and this is factual, this has been studied, so that, like, a lot of kids, when they start, and I look at this too with me, like, when I stopped kind of, like, getting my interest in tennis started fading, that a lot of kids, like, when they start getting out of, like, structured sport activities, because, I mean, that's a lot of what's, you know, is in schools, is like a belonging sense is really in sports. You could do art too. I wish my parents had involved me more in, like, art stuff, but they would have done whatever. They just didn't know what was available, I think, you know, because I was so more interested in, like, the artistic stuff than the sports stuff. But I did sports stuff too. But, you know, that kids that start getting, you know, into trouble with drugs and alcohol, it usually coincides with getting out of, like, structured sport activities, or structured, like, you know, extracurricular activities from school and things like that. That there's, like, if there's a sense of belonging, not that it will prevent it, but always, but it does help, you know. And I always think that it's great when kids are involved in stuff. I wish I had been more involved in stuff. I wish my parents would have pushed it more. I really do. I think that my high school experience would have been a lot more fun. I think I would have been more accepted by people. And I think that I would have had, I don't think I would be as socially awkward as I am today. Like, I'm not resentful about it, but I wish that I had been more involved in stuff. I wish my parents would have really, like, I just walked away from tennis, and I wish that they wouldn't have allowed that. I wish they would have said, you're going to do one thing. Like, you know, I have friends of mine whose parents are like, I don't care what you do, but you're doing one to their kids. They're like, I don't care what you do, but you're doing one activity. It can be anything. It can be, you know, you're taking photography at the local art center, or you're playing soccer or basketball or baseball or tennis or whatever, but you're going to do something, like, the whole year round. And I think it's important, you know, I think it's important to be, like, active in something like that. But I was saying to a friend of mine the other day, we were talking about this. I feel like maybe it was just some random stranger I was talking to, which wouldn't be unlike me. But I was saying it's going to be so strange, you know, 20 years from now, when all of these studies come out about, who was such, oh, it was my hairstylist I was talking to, because I said, how does your daughter do with like, because her mom comes over, like when she is at home, like like in the past, in the past year, and like then now, I said, how does your daughter do with the school stuff? Because I've got friends of mine that, you know, like, I personally, first of all, my mother was so technologically just inept, had no skills whatsoever, inept, that she could have done it. I don't think she would have had any clue, and I probably would have used that to my advantage to not have to keep up with school stuff, number one. Number two, there is no way you could have kept me sitting in front of a computer screen, even if we had computers back then. Can you even imagine, like, if this had happened when we were growing up, like, if you're my age, like, I mean, we didn't have computers, what would you have done? Worksheets for 8 hours a day? You know, phone calls with the teachers? I mean, it would have been completely maddening. Can you even can you even imagine? Can you even remember? Can you even imagine? I lacked any kind of focus growing up whatsoever, you know, into what I truly believe today is ADHD, and, you know, that, because I know that I have adult ADHD, and it's different. It comes out in adults differently than it does when you're growing up. But you couldn't have kept me in that chair long enough. Like, I would have been wanting to watch TV. I would have been on the floor. I would have been on the floor underneath the desk looking up at it and stuff. You know, I mean, I couldn't sit in a chair. Like, I had a hard time at school anyway. And like, that was always like a big issue when I was in school. So at home, where I felt safe and comfortable, there's no way. Oh my God, there's no way. And I think, honestly, like, getting up in the morning, I always took a shower in the morning, you know, like, getting up, taking a shower, doing my hair, looking nice for the day, like, kind of got me ready for the day. At home, to just throw on pajamas, you know, or sweats or whatever, which, well, I never wore sweats growing up. And that's so weird. I never wore sweats, ever. Like, tracksuits, yes, but sweats I never wore. I don't know why. I didn't like them. But I don't know which, that just occurred to me. But, you know, like, I think it would have been 10:30 or 11 before I was even woken up to be able to pay attention to what was going on in class, you know, on the computer screen. So it's a good thing that that didn't happen to me. But I don't know how parents do it. But anyway, I was talking to my hairstylist, and she was like, I was like, how does your daughter do? And she's like, oh, she's fantastic. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And she's like, she gets up, she gets ready for the day, she gets dressed. And she's like, you know, as I'm getting ready, as her, like, mom comes over and, like, helps and stuff. So she was like, as I'm getting ready, she's, like, already in the kitchen, and she's, like, made her coffee. And I go, what's her coffee? Because her daughter is, like, how old is her daughter? I think her daughter is, like, 10 or 11. And she said, well, it's not really coffee. She's like, it's this peppermint mocha stuff that has no coffee in it, but she thinks it's coffee. And that's so sweet. And she, like, has made her coffee for the morning, and then she has, like, this whole desk set up where she has, like, her main computer, and then she's got her phone, and she's got her tablet, and she's got, like, this whole 3-screen thing set up, and her notes and her book and everything. And I said, she's doing good? She goes, yeah, she's getting straight A's. She's doing fantastic. And I think there are just some kids that are like that. And so I was saying to her, I said, it's going to be really interesting 20 years from now, you know? Because, like, one of the things I really struggled with, it's funny that I was thinking about that elementary school that I worked at, because one of the things I really struggled with that internship practicum was being self-motivated. Like, we literally, when we started it, I remember our mentor, who ended up becoming, like, this great mentor to me throughout my whole life, she gave us, like, a list, and it was like these, we had to, like, start a group with one of the other counselors. We had to, like, develop the group, write the group. We ended up, I remember, well, anyway, and then you had to, like, do all this kind of, like, individual stuff. And I can remember I came in, and I've always been the kind of person that if you told me, like, do you think 1 through 10 and have it done by 3 o'clock, I could do it. Like, I was great with that kind of stuff, right? But to just come in and be like, so should I do the group today? And then she would just look at me, and she would say, I don't know, should you? And I'd be like, well, when should we start the group? And she'd say, when do you think you should start the group? And it would drive me crazy, right? Like, because I have it was very Gestalt therapy kind of thing, you know, everything comes back to you. And I didn't know what to do with that. I, like, wanted somebody to say to me, you need to start your group today. And then I would have been like, oh, okay. But, like, just to be like, you know, I just was not self-motivated. And I think, you know, it's funny when I look at my life today of making all these videos, and it's up to me, you know, it's like, it's up to, I have to be self-motivated. I mean, it's totally up to me, or you'll never see another video, right? So I really think a lot of that I got from that internship, that, you know, practicum that I did, because she really taught me how to be self-motivated. But I was saying to my friend, I was like, you know, it's going to be interesting because, you know, for the last 20 or 30 years, we've talked about the importance of socialization in schools. Well, now that that's not an option, when kids are hybrid or they're at home, you know, I'm wondering what skills will emerge, or lack of skills will emerge in the next 20 years as kids graduate, go to college, you know, find careers. Do you think that people that like have excelled through this new, I think we're developing a new world. You know, I don't know that I think our education system will ever look the same as it did again. I don't think our world is ever going to look the same as it did again. You know, so like people like my nephew Sebastian, who's growing up in this, or Carlitos, like, will they be super successful, you know, like in this new world that we have because they grew up in it, whereas other people that didn't have that will struggle? You know, it makes you wonder, like, who's going to be, like, will that be a determinant of success? You know, when you look at people that are very good in like business organizations and team leadership and working in, you know, teams, you know, business teams and things like that. Well, if they were socialized and they played team sports, there's been, you know, correlation to show that those people do very, very well, right? So it makes you wonder if 20 years from now, we're going to be looking at those students that did very, very well in this kind of hybrid world that we're living in, or total Zoom education, you know, that were self-motivated, sat down, did their work, didn't have a problem. You know, will those be the people that are thriving successfully 20 years from now? And I have to believe that to some degree, yes, you know? So it's going to be interesting to see what world we like explode into, you know, after this. I truly think, like, if I was in school right now, definitely high school, I think I would be so far behind. I probably would have dropped out at this point because I didn't care. I didn't care about school anyway. You know, I didn't care about school past about 6th grade. Like, I didn't care about the academic part of it. I definitely didn't care about the social part of it. I never knew, like, this is like trickery of my parents, okay? I never knew that I could drop out of school. Like, I never knew that was an option. Like, I can remember my friends and I, like, we kind of knew people that had dropped out. Like, you just be like, but it wasn't a lot. Like, I don't remember a lot of people dropping out. Like, I don't remember people dropping out to get their GED a lot. Like, I knew a couple people that had gotten their GED, but it was because of the circumstances. Like, there were reasons why they had to be, like, out of school. You know what I mean? Or they moved and they didn't start a new school or something like that. But, like, to some degree, like, I don't know, like, I just don't really remember a lot of people, like, dropping out of school. That just, it seemed weird to me back then, that you would drop. What would you do? Get a full-time job? Well, I guess, you know, I didn't want to do that either. I didn't want to do anything. I literally was kind of stuck in time at a certain age that, like, I just really didn't. I mean, I look back at that, and it's so, I think, thankful that I didn't. Like, it could have turned out really bad. I just don't think that I wanted anything to go forward. I just didn't. I was scared. I didn't want to grow up. I didn't have any friends. You know, it was lonely. I think about those junior high years as being some of my worst. I really do. But I don't know, my mom and I got really close because of that, you know, and I think you know, it's funny because I think it was my 9th grade year going into my 10th grade year. I can never remember when it was, when I lost all the weight, but I'm almost positive it was 9th going into 10th grade, because I didn't, like, we were at a new high school and people were like, I mean, I lost a lot of weight. I was never like a super heavy kid, but I like filled out, I like grew like 4 or 5 inches over the summer, dyed my hair real wacky. It wasn't real wacky, but it was like brown, and then it had like blonde spots in it, and I started dressing completely different. I was very like, you know, sport coats and jeans and big Doc Marten shoes and stuff going into 10th grade. And I lost a lot of weight, and for the first time ever, people were like, I mean, that was like, the bullying was bad, but I also got a lot of attention from girls that thought I was real cute and stuff like that, you know, which obviously and that scared me too, because I didn't know what to do with that, because I had really never received that before. And I also was like, I mean, at the same time that there are girls that are like crushing on me, there's all these guys that are, you know, calling me mean names, you know, and saying this and that about me. So it was like, I didn't really know what to do with a lot of that. I was very quiet in high school, in school. I didn't talk a lot to people. I didn't talk a lot to teachers. I didn't talk a lot, I mean, to my friends I did, but I just was very quiet and kind of into myself. I can never remember what summer that was, but my mom and I walked like every day, and I just ate vegetables. I feel like that was 9th grade going into 10th grade. I'm almost positive, because my junior high was 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And then 10th grade was at the high school. I started at a high school. And I was scared to death. I think I had the very kind of like flock of seagulls like hairdo maybe going into, I don't remember. At some point I kept my hair really short, and it was like spiky and had like, you know, different colors in it and stuff like that. And then like my senior year I had like bleach blonde hair. Isn't that so funny? And then I got out of high school. Well, at some point in high school I started coloring my hair. I colored my hair so many different colors. But at some point in high school, like I started coloring it really, really dark. And I just stuck with that. So, isn't it weird when you think like, did you ever think about the fact like if you had been born to different parents, you know, in a different place, like what your life would look like? And it's like, had I been born now instead of when I was born, like what would my life look like? You know? Do you ever think about weird stuff like that? I think about weird stuff like that all the time. I mean, like if I was in school now, my hand is itching like crazy. Which hand does it mean when you're oh, my battery's about to die. Which hand does it mean when you're gonna like get money? Do you guys know? Is it my right hand? Is it my left hand? I'll take it. After I got done listening to, or after I got done vlogging last night, I listened to this 12-step lead on YouTube, and it was this woman's story, and it was so powerful. I was blown away, bawling my eyes out in the car. Started off so funny. She is so funny. But her story was just incredibly powerful. And I felt so proud to be sober last night listening to it. I was like, we are some cool ass people that are sober, you know? We're some cool people. We've been through some stuff, you know? for those of you out there that are struggling tonight, you can be part of that. You can too. You know, whatever you're struggling with, you can make it through it. Put one foot in front of the other. You know. I love listening to people's stories. They always inspire me. For a long time, I listened to TED Talks. I have to pull in here and change this battery. I'm not going to talk for a whole lot longer, but for a long time, I would listen to TED Talks like every single day. I don't know what changed, what stopped with that. Like at some point, I was just kind of like, I don't really. I would look. Some of them were. I mean, honestly, some of them were really good, and some of them were not great. I will tell you, if you guys have watched Emily Baker, she's the attorney that like is now like doing kind of like, I wouldn't call them drama videos, but she's really nice. I've talked to her a couple times on the phone. She's hilarious and so sweet and so grateful for her life. But she did a TED Talks. So she's kind of doing like, she's reading through court documents on her channel and stuff. It's very cool. It's very cool. Stuff I don't understand. But anyway, she did a TED Talks where she talked about why she got out of being like, working for the prosecutor or being a public defendant or whatever she was, public defender or whatever she was at that time working, for Los Angeles County. She talks about why she changed her career and how she knew that she wanted to be. You guys, it is so powerful. If you go to her channel, her channel is Emily D. Baker. Emily D. Baker. Okay, my battery died. Anyway, her channel is called Emily D. Baker, B-A-K-E-R. She's so nice. She's so funny. She talks about how she says the cursey words. She sent me, you guys, 2 Starbucks cups. Wasn't that so sweet? So sweet. She's like, I've watched you forever. I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, I just love how real she is. And I love that she's like, I wanted to do this forever. Like she talks about being an influencer or content creator, but she's like, which are not, I don't love those words, but she's like, I wanted to be a content creator, but they're fine. I mean, they're words that everybody uses, right? She's like, I wanted to be a content creator on YouTube for so long, like making regular content. And like now she is. Like she made her dreams come true. And I absolutely love that because I am somebody that feels the same way. Like whatever it is that you want your life to look like dream it big and achieve it. Like she's so cool. And when we were talking, she was talking about like her vision board, and I mean she just very specifically knew what she wanted her life to look like. And it's almost kind of like, I wish I should talk to her and tell her that she should tell the story on there, because I don't want to tell her story, but it's so cool. She just is one of the neatest women ever. And it's funny because like now that she's doing all this kind of stuff, you would think she's real gossipy and all that. She's not at all. Like she just is so thankful for this opportunity of being on YouTube and being able to, she's so grateful. I mean, it's really cool and inspiring too, to find somebody that is so grateful for like each and every subscriber, you know, because you guys know, like that's something that just really brings me down when you see all these YouTubers that are just like so ungrateful. And there's a lot out there that are like, that feel like that really should just be handed to them, you know. It's like I feel so grateful for getting the opportunity to do this every day, you know. It was like I sat down today and I had made a list of like these cameos that I was gonna do. And so they expire. You have like so much time to expire. I'm like literally, you guys, to be honest with you, like every day I have to do like 2 or 3 of them for completely free because they expire. And if they expire, then you don't get paid for them, but you can still do them anyway. And I'm like, I'm not gonna not do one for somebody, you know what I mean? So I don't always check it every day, and so then they expire, and I'm like, damn it, Janet. And like, I meant to, because the other thing is that people get them in time for like birthdays and stuff, right? So I sat down today and I had made a list of like how many I had to do before they expired by a certain time, you know, like by tomorrow, so that, because what will happen is I'll go to bed and then I'll wake up and there'll have been one that was like at 11 a.m. and I'll have thought to myself, well, I'll get up and do it tomorrow, but then I sleep through the night and then I don't have time to do it, so it expires. You get it? So anyway, so I sat down and I was like, well, I'm gonna do like, I think I had to do like, there were 2 expired ones. It was 6 total. It was like 6 total that I had to do. And I ended up doing 14 of them because I was having so much fun, you know, and People are so nice with the message. I mean, the messages listen, you guys you have given me such an incredible life, and you guys are so kind to me in the comment sections. I mean, just from everything from blue hearts to, hey, how are you, to I love you and I love you too, you know, and it's all of it. It's so magical, and I just feel so blessed. And like, we were at brunch today, and I don't know what came up. Well, I told Alex I had to do some cameos when we got home, and I mean, because he can't just be like sitting there watching TV, because it has to be kind of silent while I'm doing them, right? And he was like, are you still getting people booking them? And I was like, oh yeah, like every day. And he was like, he looked at me, he was like, people really like you. He was like, people are so nice to you, Peter. And I was like, I know, it's unbelievable. I mean, it does not go missed on Alex and I whatsoever how nice people are. And you know, the thing is, and this is the thing that means a lot to me, and I think people don't understand. I've had quite a few friends of mine say to me, like, well, you should get rid of your other channels and just focus on your drama channel, because if you were putting better content on your drama channel, meaning like if I edited them and had a microphone and all that kind of stuff, they'd be higher quality and people would want to watch them. I get that, you know. I've actually thought about getting a did I say microwave? Microphone. I've actually thought about getting a microphone lately. But the thing is this, is like, I love the drama channel. I have so much fun with it. I get to just be total SHI toot and giggles and, you know, just laugh and say silly stuff. And I love to have my opinion about things. It's fun to me. Like, that, I mean, that is really like a lot of like what me and my friends talk about. Not YouTube stuff, but social media, not social media stuff, but pop culture stuff. You know, like the Kardashians or what, you know, the Real Housewives or whatever. So like, you know, to then be able to do that on YouTube with YouTubers is fun, because I don't have an outlet for that anywhere else, you know? But to me, the real measure is this channel, or my Peterisms channel, or, you know, my BookTube channel, or, you know, my Peter Does Stuff channel. Oh my God, all the Christmas lights over there. I want to go over there. Because it's not like people are over there getting the hot drama. You know what I mean? It's like, this is Connor Prairie, and they put these lights up here, and you're supposed to be able to drive through there now and see it. And I want to drive through there and see it. But they used to be out here at this John Deere place. I actually drove through there a couple times on this channel and showed it. I wish I knew which video that was so I could see it, because they don't have it up anymore over there. They have it now over there, and you have to pay to drive through it. Before it was free. But anyway, that's why I'll never quit. Like, I'm not saying that this channel will always look like this, where I drive around for an hour every night. I mean, who knows? My life could change, and you know, that wouldn't be able to be what it looks like. But to some capacity, this channel will always look like this. I hope. I don't have any. I was looking today as I was like uploading, because I uploaded the vlog super late tonight. I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot to put it up. And then I fell asleep, and then I couldn't put it up until after I got up. But I was looking, and so like I have to pick what year it is. You know, like that's like the playlist, and it's like 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. This is my almost 4th year completed where I have vlogged every single day, with the exception of the week that I took off last year when PP passed away. That's the only week I've ever taken off from vlogging, you know? And I look at that, and like, I love this channel so much. And I was like, oh my God, this is so weird that I'm almost going to put 2021 up there, and it's going to be my 5th year. My 5th year in a row, you know? And I think about, like, when I started watching vloggers on YouTube, I watched, like, Will and RJ at Chep689, and they vlogged every day for 7 years. And people will be like, I can't believe you vlogged every day for 7 years. Well, I'm coming up on 5 days, and their vlog, 5 years, and their vlogs were like 10 and 12 minutes. And I have absolutely loved this journey of vlogging. It means so much to me. It's like, so many of you, like in the comment sections, I mean, I know you, like, you comment every single day. Like, it's so nice. And like, some of you don't, like, comment a lot. Like, Tammy never comments anything but, like, a blue heart, right? But, like, I think if Tammy didn't comment, like, there's been a couple people through the years that, like, have stopped, like, commenting, and I'm like, well, did something happen, you know, whatever. Like, Sean always comments on there, and I always say something, you know. Jamie always comments. You know, there's been people that, like, there's so many of you that have watched for so long, or like just the other day when, I can't remember who said it, but somebody said that they were going back and rewatching them and they were up to like this summer or something. Like, that is so sweet that you guys would go back and watch my vlogs, you know, like, I think that probably would seem boring to some people, you know, but it just means a lot to me, and I feel so incredibly blessed. I feel so incredibly blessed. And it's like today, Mel and I were coming up with the book that we are doing for the book club for December. So do y'all want to know? Y'all want a little secret? I mean, I'm gonna either do the video tomorrow or Tuesday, and I think she's already put it up. We're reading about Casey Anthony. I can't, and I don't know a whole lot about the case. I mean, I know a little bit about it, but I don't know a whole lot. I can't remember the book that we picked. We narrowed it down to 2, and one of them got like a really good ratings and the other one got horrible ratings. So I was like, let's pick the one that has really great ratings. So we're gonna do that one. I think it actually was written by the prosecutor or somebody like that. It looks really good though. But anyway, I mean, just, it's so funny that I have my true crime and coffee cup too, that I'm talking about this, right? True crime and coffee. But you know, just in talking, like, my friendship with Mel, like, when I am like in the live streams for the book club, and it's like Mel and I, or Misha's in there, you know, or Nikki, or Karen, or, you know, like Taylor, and it's like, I feel like in that moment, like I'm at home. And like, that is like such a cool thing that has come as a result of doing YouTube that I never expected. I mean, there's so many different things that have come. I never would have had my friendship with Mel. Mel and I, we talk about books, but like we don't read the same things other than true crime. So like yesterday, she and I talked on the phone for probably a good 40 minutes, and we had a real deep conversation yesterday, you know? I love her. I love her to death. She's one of my dearest friends in the entire world. Hell, I wouldn't have even met my friend Valerie if it wasn't for all this, you know? So it's like, and it's the vlog, you know? Like, I think that so many people, like, that have stuck around watch, and I'm so thankful for that, you know, and I'm thankful for all of you guys out there that watch us. Even, I love when I get I'll get an email from somebody randomly, and they'll say, this happens usually about once a week, and they'll say, I just want you to know I've watched literally every vlog you've ever posted, but I'm not comfortable leaving comments. I've never left a comment, but I just want you to know how much I like love your vlogs, and thank you so much. You've gotten me through so many, you know, times, and like, that's like super powerful. Like, that means a lot. Like, that just means a lot, you know? Like, I can't keep up with like the DMs and stuff, because so many people now, with the fleet thing, every time I post a fleet, somebody sends me a heart, so it's like I get like 30 of those, and it just pushes all the DMs down. But stupid fleets on Twitter, isn't it so stupid? But I just feel so blessed, you know? It's like, I can't say it enough. And like, the more I'm doing like this gratitude book, this magic book by Rhonda Byrne, the more grateful I feel, you know? I just feel so just full of happiness and gratitude. I just can't even explain it. Like, you know, and in just as like a, you know, my channel, my drama channel, I lose a lot of subscribers on that channel. I'm not going to use that old word I used to say, glitch, that everybody made fun of back in the day, but it's the truth. But YouTube can't figure out what's wrong with it, and I'm done fighting it, you know? I'm just done fighting it. Every day I lose 50 to 100 subscribers on that channel, and it'll happen for a couple months, and then I'll gain subscribers back again, you know, whatever. The thing I think is funny is that when I started this vlog was the first time that it was happening to me on that channel. I mean, it's happened several times where I've had like 3 to 4 months where I can't gain a subscriber. I can't gain a subscriber to save my life on that channel right now, you know? And I don't really care as long as people enjoy my videos. I'm kind of past that point, you know, where it's like whatever. the people that are there and find it are going to be, you know, it makes me sad for the people that have followed for a long time, and then I'll get comments that say, I didn't realize you've been posting videos, like, I just thought you had stopped. And I'm like, because their subscription, they were unsubscribed unknowingly, so please make sure that you're still subscribed to this channel, my drama channel, all my channels if you're subscribed. But, what was I going to say? The truck was coming up so fast. You know, what's funny is I think back on when I started this vlog, and I started it because I was losing a lot of subscribers on that channel, you know? And I was like, well, I want to start another channel. And I can remember a friend of mine at the time was like, you need to just focus on your drama channel and it'll turn around and whatever. And I said, no, I want to have something else too, you know? Did it again, talking about somebody's name. Anyway, said somebody's name. Anyway, at that time I was talking to a friend, and my friend was like, you just need to focus, like, you know, on your drama channel, like, you know, instead of like starting something new, it's like, you know, like you're giving up or whatever. And I was like, no, I'm not giving up, but like I want to have something new, you know. And I think like it's so crazy to me that this channel came out of that period in my life where I was discouraged and down on myself and didn't think I was good enough and didn't believe in myself. And then this miraculous thing came out of it, which is this vlog, which I'm so incredibly thankful for today. You know, I mean, on top of like all of the interactions I've got to have with you guys and how supportive and kind you are to me, on top of all of that, like, I have footage, all this footage of Pee-Pee, you know, I have all this footage of like Alex and I, like, in cars, all these stories from, you know, that I mean, I've told like every life story that well, not all of them, but a lot of life stories on here, you know, that I don't, you know, what's funny is I have to say this, most of my videos I go back and I watch before, well, my drama videos I do, my booktube videos I do, I go back and I watch before I post them. But you know, like every once in a while, like I'll pull up like an old video, like on my drama channel. Especially like if it's a video that like, let's say if Sally Smith does something, right? I'm making the name up. But let's say if Sally Smith does something, I'm like, what did I say about this like a year ago? Like I'll look it up to like see, you know, and it's funny to watch like older videos of me, you know, compared to now. I feel like I'm so different over there. But I don't really do that with the vlog. Like I don't go back and watch old vlogs. I have a couple times. I've gone back and I've watched the dog videos. I found the dog videos and made a list of the ones that have pee-pee in them. It's hard. It's hard to watch them because I miss them so much. But I'm glad I have that footage of him, you know. I think that would be one of my greatest lessons I would tell anybody is, to everybody in your life, make sure that you take a lot of like video footage and, you know, that you have people's voices recorded so that you can hear them later. I mean, I don't have any of that of my mom, you know. And I don't really have any of that of my dad either. Which is funny, isn't it? And you know, most days I just, to be honest with you, don't want to be reminded of the sadness. I don't want to just sit there and watch something that's going to make me sad over and over and over again. But you know, like, that was a very special moment in my life. Yeah, I can remember those three little guys, Boo and Tucker and Pee-Pee, running around the bed, and Pee-Pee going like this to my arm. And, you know, I get to look back on that and watch them, and I have that, you know, forever. And so that, like, that era of our life, I get real sad when I talk about it, because like it also like it carries into like Boo and Tucker now that they're getting older, because I think, you know, like, you know, when Pee-Pee got sick, I would talk on here a lot about there was going to be a day when like PP wasn't here anymore. And now, like, I think about, you know, I just think that there's going to be this day when, like, Boo and Tucker aren't here anymore, and, like, our life looks so completely different. And I'm not saying that it's going to be a bad life. It's just going to be a different life, you know? And I love those little guys so much. And their personalities have come out so much in the last year. Like, I feel like in some ways, you know, like, we've really gotten to know them so much better now. And Alex is, like, so close with them, you know? I think it scares me sometimes. And who knows, you know, maybe they'll live to be 19, you know? And maybe they won't. And, I don't know. It's like sometimes I just wish that time would stop. You know, I say that all the time. Like, but I know that that's not possible. You know, we can't just stay and where we're at all the time. You know, time has to go on. It has to move on. But sometimes it sucks getting older, you know? I feel like just when I got, like, to a point in my life where I'm doing something I love, and I love the dogs, and I'm appreciative of my life, and I'm grateful for everything. It's like, just when I figured it out, it's like things start to change, you know? Like, and I guess maybe that's life, you know, ever changing and ever evolving, and it never stays the same, but it's hard. It's real hard, you know? I'm sure many of you out there know that, and, I mean, I think sometimes it's weird, like, you know, doing this video tomorrow with Caroline, it's weird. It's like, I don't think people, like, in my personal life really get it. Like, it's literally Caroline and I, you know, like, and then I have my dad and my stepmom, but, like, I'm not super close with her family. I mean, I know them, but I'm not super close with them. And they don't do tons of stuff with anybody, like my dad's family or her family, so, you know, it's like my family is so small. Thank God that I have Alex's family. And thank God that they have welcomed me in with open arms, because, and I do so completely feel like that's my family too, you know? I just can't imagine if I didn't have that, you know, and I love Caroline, and I love my dad and my stepmom, but it's small. And Caroline has her own family, you know, so it's hard. I was thinking the other day, I was like, you know, I think sometimes people have kids, and they have a lot of kids sometimes because they maybe don't want to be alone as they get older or something, you know? And I was, like, thinking about all this kind of stuff, and I don't think it would change anything for me, you know? Like, I think I would have more dogs. But, like, even right now, like, I had a day the other day, I don't know what happened, but I was kind of talking out loud to Pee-Pee, and I just lost it completely. I was, like, putting up the ring light, and you know, it's silly, as silly as it may sound, but, you know, this little area with, like, Pee-Pee's ashes and stuff, and I was kind of talking to Pee-Pee, and Tucker was kind of looking at me, and I just lost it completely. And I had this minute where I kind of, like, asked myself in my head, like, well, maybe we should get another dog. Like, maybe now's the time. And like my immediate response was no. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, I have no desire to do that. Which I think scares me too, because I don't want to get to the point where I don't want to have another dog, you know? I don't know. I think I don't think it's a bad thing, but I think I develop extremely strong attachments to people and things in my life. And I think I'm also just so in tune with my emotions that I feel things on such a deep level and I just let it come out, which is good. You know, it's like, I'm sure a lot of people will be like, oh, Peter was sad tonight. No, I just was feeling some stuff and talking about stuff, and when I turn the camera off, I'll feel great. You know, I'll feel like I'm really happy that I talked about that stuff. I had a friend of mine that used to tell me all the time, she'd say, I can remember like the first time she said it to me, she was like, looked right at me and I just started crying. She said, if we can't cry about it, it means it didn't mean anything to us. I want to feel things. I want my life to have had importance. I want my life to have meaning to it. I want the people, the animals, and the moments of my life to mean something, you know? I want them to mean something, because they do. And that's what life is really all about, Charlie Brown. I mean, it really is, you know? It's about the people and the time you spend with them, which is priceless. It's about how you spend your life, whether that's with your pets or activities that you do that you love to do, or work. You know, there's a lot of people out there that are doing really important work. All work, I think, is important if you're making a positive contribution to the world, like my dad used to always say, you know. And then those moments that you look at, you know, and you think, like, all these moments in your life that make up your life, that's really what life is about, you know. And I don't ever want to lose sight of that. And I think that's why, for me, gratitude is such an action. Because it gets me to a point where I really can, like, look at my life and say, wow, you know, like, you have been blessed to have such an amazing life. And I don't want to lose sight of that. So, with that being said, I'm going to get off here now. I have vlogged longer than I thought I would. And, if you guys like this video vlog, please give it a big thumbs up. And make sure that you're still subscribed to my channel if you've already subscribed. And if you haven't, then think about subscribing to the vlog channel and being a part of the OG Wolf Pack over here. That's all of us getting through life, just putting positivity and love and compassion out there in the world, and understanding and forgiveness. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. And I'm gonna remember, you can start your day over whenever you want. Most importantly, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you. You can do that through text or a phone call, the postcard, just saying hi, knock on their door, neighbor, how are you doing? Also, like I always say, practice random acts of kindness, but also, like I always say, don't tell anyone, just do it because it's the right thing to do. It's a nice thing to do. Put some goodness out there in the world. No matter what you do, like it says in the 4 agreements, always lead with love. I love you guys so much. Have an amazing day. Wake up and say, today I'm going to be happy, joyous, and free, and I'm going to have an amazing day. And pay that gratitude forward, and put some compassion, love, kindness, forgiveness, understanding, and yes, even tolerance out there in the world. And I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya.